Yo, what's up? My name's Petrowski, and recently I've been playing a lot of Pokemon randoms on my race to acquire a free PvP comp ready Sceptile as a reward. And recently I've been on a huge win streak, and I just so happened to have some beverages, have some adult beverages, drink a little bit, and play some PvP, some randoms, while quite drunk and while on a huge win streak, and somehow I remained undefeated. I was very surprised by that. I think I played like 3 or 4 games. Today we'll be covering / reviewing 3 of those games, and I'm just shocked that I was able to play through. I can't believe I won these games. I'm going to be trying to provide some reasoning, trying to be providing some logic to my drunken antics and to my drunken play. Let's see how that goes. So, game 1. We have Torterra lead with Life Orb. We have that Drought Tortle in the back, which will be super important to think about with weather setting and everything. We have that nice double screens Claydol as well. Now, we're a physical attacker facing down a Blissey, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks. I could have just set up this up later in the game, but really surprised my opponent went for a Calm Mind here. It was pretty freaking risky facing down an EQ Torterra. I know that my EQ will probably do around like 80 to 90% is my guess. It does 86.3%. Perfect guess, even while drunk. He does get... He has this weird berry. I've never even seen this berry before in Pokemon PvP. Raises his defense stat. I know it won't matter. Me also being faster here than Blissey is a big deal. My opponent just kind of throwing that first bit, I guess. He wanted to give me a little bit of an advantage. He saw that I had a Torterra, I think, and was like, you know what? This guy's team probably sucks. Let me give him a little. Let me hand him a little gift. So honestly, thank you to my opponent. Very clearly being kind due to that. Now he brings in Weezing, which I obviously can't EQ because I'm scared of Levitate here. It could have reactive gas, but it probably has Levitate, especially in randoms. We see it get hit by Stealth Rocks, though. I wonder if that's an indicator. I kind of forget if that's an indicator of it having reactive gas. I think it would have notified me though. If it had reactive gas, I think it would have notified me. So I'm pretty sure I still hit it there. I bring in Claydol, which is super free here. I could just Psychic here and kill it, but I was like, you know what? I'm sure this guy will switch. This tilted me even while drunk. I was like, you know what? This guy will definitely switch, right? You know, I want to break down these plays actually really quick. I was like, this guy will definitely switch. He's facing down a Psychic Stab type Pokemon that obviously has a Psychic type attack that will obviously one-shot his Weezing. There's no way he stays in, right? Nope, he stays in. Absolute madman. Clicks the Dark Pulse, does a bit of damage. Now, I set up Reflect on that first turn, and I am faster, so I know here that he did 45% before. If I set up Light Screen, he's probably doing like, what, 22%? So I know that I can actually set up Light Screen to set up both of my screens, and then Psychic. I don't have to Psychic on this turn, so I abuse this information, allowing myself to set up both screens as opposed to just Psychicking there immediately. Then we get it. Now I can Psychic. So I get a lot of free value there by understanding how to set up screens. Understanding how to set up screens and when to go for screens and when to go for attacks, etc., is super huge. I don't quite get the KO, which I was kind of surprised by, but at the same time, I don't care. Pretty happy with that. Really absurd. I have double screens up at this point and absurd damage. I really want to bring in like my Torkoal here to just Shell Smash and draw. I forget what I end up going to. I'm in a really weird spot here where I think this is probably one of the toughest decisions of the entire game. I need to bring in something that is faster. And can deal with this thing and take advantage of double screens. So I either want to bring in something like a Shell Smash Torkoal, or I can even bring in, I think I might end up going Noctowl. I could bring in Noctowl here and set up my Calm Minds against this thing. It's going to do like no damage to me since it's a special attacker with a decent special attack stat for a tank, but still not great. I think I end up going Noctowl here. We'll go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. I think I do end up going Noctowl. Let's see. I search some stats up. I really want to bring in Kabutops here and go for the Rapid Spin to finish it off and get a speed boost, but I'm pretty sure that I actually don't kill. I was like, I'm actually pretty sure that Rapid Spin doesn't kill at that HP, which I didn't want to risk it. I was like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't kill. So I'm able to safely bring in Noctowl, set up a Calm Mind. Thunderbolt does no damage, and I actually end up in a very, very long battle here. I'm going to put it on 2x speed, but I make some misplays here. I get a little greedy. I think I just end up trying to set up too many Calm Minds. What happens is I set up 2 Calm Minds, or 2 or 3 here. Let's see, 2 there. T-Bolt. He's going to continue to T-Bolt me. I thought I was in a really safe position, which I kind of am, but what I should be really scared of here is I'm scared of paralysis and crit. Obviously, those are the 2 things from this T-Bolt that would really mess me up. I go for a Hurricane here. Just Hurricane in my mind was like, if it misses, that's fine. I can stall another turn. Looking back, this was just a bad play. I know it's 70% accuracy, obviously, so if I go for Heat Crash or whatever, the Heat Wave, it's a lot, 95% accuracy. But I was like, you know what? If he switches, Hurricane will hit something for a lot more. It'll do a lot more damage. Like, in my mind, I was like, if it misses, not a big deal. I can just keep setting up. Kind of just rolling the dice there. T-Balls me again. I'm like, you know what? I kind of just switch up my play. I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep calm mining up, whatever. And eventually, I do end up getting punished. 8.7% still. Very, very little damage. Just doing less and less damage with those T-Balls. I think here I'm at 4 times Calm Mind, and this is where the crit comes through. 60% damage on a huge crit. But even here, I'm like, you know what? I can still roost up. I'm a little scared because my light screen wears off this turn. But the damage still shouldn't be that bad. 2.7%. Absolutely pathetic damage. But then this is where things, I think it was this turn, things got really bad. Oh, next turn, 5%. I'm spoiler alerting you guys, I guess. I go for another Calm Mind. Here I'm 5 times Calm Mind. Yeah, here it is. He gets a second crit as well as a paralysis on the crit, which, to be fair, he threw off a lot of T-Balls, but still, this was very lucky. Still, it was ahead of how many T-Balls he threw out. The paralysis makes sense, but getting double crit in this position when it's 1 out of 16, especially double crit into the paralysis, was very lucky. The paralysis makes sense, but double crit and paralysis was very, very lucky. I end up having my knocked out paralyzed here is really, really bad. Lowering its speed is a really unfortunate issue. Here, I'm thinking, like, I'm really scared of one of his Pokemon being, like, Scarf with Stone Edge. I'm really scared of, like, Sandslash coming in, or any sort of Pokemon that can come in and have Stone Edge. I get paralyzed a couple more times. I'm trying to essentially, at this point, Calm Mind up to, I don't even know if I think I just stay at +5 here. +6 doesn't really end up mattering here. What I want to do is I want to Roost to get fully healthy and then get off a Heat Wave and finish off his Weezing and then be at a high enough HP to tank an attack from whatever he brings in and be able to take on the rest of his team, which I end up doing. He brings in Lopunny, which I'm like, sure. I know that Lopunny can't kill me here. He goes for an Ice Punch. I do get Parahaxed, unfortunately. I got Parahaxed so many times throughout this paralysis as well, which is super unfortunate. I think, yep, I get double Parahaxed here. I think in the chat, I'm spamming, like, buy a lottery ticket or something. I'm, like, tilting here a little bit. So unlucky. So unfortunate. It just happens in Pokemon PvP. It just happens. So my Noctowl does go down, only getting 1 Pokemon after being ×5. I definitely just misplayed it. I should have just taken out the Weezing earlier. I wanted to set up and be greedy, but I didn't need to set up that much, and I could have gotten a lot more value. That's kind of the thing with randoms. Like, setting up to +6 or setting up to, like, +5 in randoms just doesn't matter a lot of the time. I end up bringing in Cloyster here, and I was really surprised to see High Jump Kick actually 2-shots me. So at this point, I made a lot of misplays this game. At this point, I'm like, you know what? I can actually go into Torterra, and I go, Torterra should be able to tank it pretty well. I'm thinking Torterra might take like 40% on this switch in, but I actually end up taking it way better than 23% only. I was really surprised by that, and now I can go ahead and get a nice free EQ off. He goes for an Ice Punch, though, which almost kills me. I live at 2 HP, and I think I type in chat, calced. Calculated, obvious, clearly calculated, clearly, deserved. I bring in Torkoal here as it's probably my best point to go for that Shell Smash sweep. He goes into Carnivine, which is obviously going to be super weak to Torkoal here, so he has to switch out. I go for the Shell Smash on the switch here, and I'm able to get my Torkoal pretty strong here, if I recall correctly. He makes a switch over to Mantine. I get a Shell Smash off. My White Herb or my Herb procs, which restores my defenses, so I'm in a really good position here, but then this was so sad. This was Surf doing pretty little damage because I'm in Sun, 47%. Solar Beam only does 40%. Are you kidding me? I could not believe how little damage. Wait, this is actually a Data Brain play. So what we see here is that I know that I'm still slower than this Mantine, even though I'm Shell Smashed, which is so sad, first of all. Second of all, I know that he's only doing around 50% damage with his Surf, so I know that I can actually survive another one, and I'll Shell Smash after. So what I do here is I take advantage of that. I take advantage of my slow speed and the fact that I'll survive, and I'm able to get another Shell Smash off here after I tank this Surf, put it 5 HP, I get a Shell Smash off. I know he doesn't have any priority, doesn't have like Aqua Jet or anything, so I'm able to get slightly stronger and then go for that Solar Beam. So now I'm actually +4 in, both attacks and speed on my Torkoal, and I might be able to just get a ton. I might be able to just sweep at this point is what I'm thinking. But then he brings in Honchkrow, and I know he has Sucker Punch here, but there's no other play. There's no like outplay to that. So now I can safely bring in Cloyster and Kabutops and probably finish off this game is what I'm thinking at this point. As long even if my Stone Edge misses here, I should be fine. But I hit the Stone Edge. I finish it off, and that should be GG's. Carnivine comes in. I should be able to Stone Edge this as well. Or like Leech Life if I want. I don't have Leech Life on this one. Let's go for another Stone Edge. Finish off this Carnivine. And that's game 1, I believe. Oh yeah, actually, I was really scared, so I type in chat here. I was like, I'm hoping it's not Giga Drain. So I don't quite kill the Carnivine, but I'm able to bring the closer. Really, really close game. I think me and my opponent both made a lot of misplays here, but thankfully, I was able to take it out. Now, I typed in chat. If that thing had Giga Drain, I might have lost that game. It would have been able to sustain enough HP from that. It would have killed my Kabutops, sustained a ton of HP, and just been a really bad situation for me. Now here, we're on a 7-game win streak heading into this game. To give you guys I'm on a 7-game win streak, drunk off my ass, jumping into a game, Plusle lead, Salad Berry, Nasty Plot. I actually really like using Minun and Plusle in randoms because Nasty Plot is just super good. Now, this is a really bad lead for my opponent. My opponent played this game incredible, if I remember correctly. This is like maybe my favorite opponent of the last couple days, so shout out to him. Really good player. I'm Plusle facing down Pelipper. Pelipper's 4 times weak to electric. Plusle's very, very fast, much faster than Pelipper, so it's a rough position for my opponent to be in, but he still is able to set up rain at least. But I know this, so I go ahead and just go for a free Nasty Plot. Now, I'm a little scared he can bring in something that just isn't going to take like any damage from... If he can bring in something that can tank the electric attack as well as the HP Ice, which he absolutely does, he brings in Magnezone, and at this point I'm like, I literally can't do like any damage to this thing. I think I might check damage. I don't remember if I just hard switch here or if I test damage. If I test damage, I'm a madman. I should just instantly switch here, but I forget what I do, honestly. I think I make a switch over to Hariyama, which, watching this back, that makes the most sense to me. Actually, sub to Scout is fair. So I substitute to Scout. I see that he goes for Flash Cannon, which I'm not sure if he's I'm not sure if he is Scarf or Specs at this point. It's very possible he might be, so I want to watch out for that. I make the switch over to Hariyama, which has a pretty nice special defense stat, which should be able to tank anything pretty decently. I still end up taking 42%, which is pretty absurd from this thing. I don't know how good my opponent is yet, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Belly Drum, even though he probably switches over to Pelipper. My opponent just played this game very well. Citrus Berry procs on the Hariyama. I do get a CC off on the Pelipper, which does more damage than I expected. 30% damage to this thing is very good. Pelipper is a very defensive Pokemon, and I was just like really worried. So here I want to make a switch over to, what do I go to here? Probably Abomasnow or Exploud. Plusle is pretty safe, honestly. I might just go Plusle. But I think here, this is where I learn from my opponent. So I make the Plusle switch. Let's see what he goes. He goes for the Scald, 74%. Oh, it ends up... Oh, I was saying it ends up probably killing my Plusle, right? But no, it doesn't. My Plusle lives at 1 HP, which is a really big deal. Having to have my Plusle for the rest of the game to be able to take out his Pelipper or threaten his Pelipper is a big deal. So I want to explain this switch. The reason I make this switch is because it's going to overwrite his weather, as well as he's probably going to switch into Magnezone here, which is my guess. And that's exactly, I catch him on the switch, and I also think he won't expect my EQ. So I'm Choice Band Abomasnow with EQ here. I'm able to get him. He didn't expect. I was really proud of that play. Great play. Making the predict switch over to Abomasnow, learning from my opponent, him switching back and forth between his Pelipper and his Magnezone. We do catch him on the switch and also surprise him with the EQ. Perfect play, taking out his Magnezone, and now I'm Life Orb Abomasnow, so I actually really value my Abomasnow this game. I know that it can do a lot of work, so I'm like, you know what? He set up Rain. Let me sacrifice switch over something else, or just, I think I switch over Exploud here to like tank a hit, as well as be able to, I want to be able to switch back into Abomasnow. I want to be able to bring back in Abomasnow. So I think my goal here is to switch over to something like Exploud. I think that's what I do. Let's see what I do. Or I might sacrifice Hariyama here, honestly. Yeah, I sacrifice Hariyama here. I could tank with Exploud, but sacrificing Hariyama here is super fair. He ends up going for U-turn, which is really, really good for me. So I'm actually able to possibly still get some value out of my Hariyama. I checked my Hariyama stats to make sure I'm probably able to live Leafeon attack. Leafeon goes for sub, which I was pretty surprised by. I'm essentially sacrificing my Hariyama here. I thought that we would just go for Leaf Blade or something, but I know that I probably live that Leaf Blade and do some decent damage. He goes for Leaf Blade now. I think he ends up taking me out post the CC. I'll take it. Honestly, smart play by him if he was going for the sub, knowing that I would CC to get the lower defenses on me, which my opponent played this game very well. It wouldn't surprise me. I end up going over to Abomasnow to once again reset the weather. I'm a little scared that if he switches straight back over to Pelipper here, it would obviously reset the weather and make my Blizzard not, it'd be like 50% accurate, I think, in rain. But he stays in, which I'm pretty surprised by. Leafeon gets obliterated because Leafeon has... So I think my opponent thought that I was physical here. I think my opponent thought that I might have only had Ice Shard on my Abomasnow since I was... I think I'm life... Yeah, I'm life over Abomasnow. I thought I was Choice Band, excuse me. Had a lot of Abomasnow games recently. I think my opponent might have thought that I was physical only and was scared of Ice Shard, which is why he stayed in against Leafeon, because Ice Shard against Leafeon is bad, but it's not nearly as bad as Blizzard. Leafeon has a really high defense stat, but a pretty bad special defense stat, so Blizzard's just going to obliterate it. I think that was his thought process. But he still could have gone Pelipper. I think going Pelipper is probably the right play there, but just didn't want to risk it. He goes into Pelipper now to reset weather. U-turns on me. I bring an X-Cloud. I think it's go for like double edge here. He brings Ludicolo in on the rain, and this is really scary for me, so I want to talk about this. I'm really scared that every Ludicolo I like ever see in randoms is always Swift Swim, but by some act of God, this Ludicolo wasn't Swift Swim. I feel so bad for my opponent here, because why the fuck was this thing not Swift Swim? This thing ended up being Rain Dish, so I'm actually faster than it in rain, which is... Ludicolo is useless. Like, if you're, yeah, Rain Dish Ludicolo is just so useless. Like, I understand he's going to be able to Leech Seed, Leftovers, Rain Dish, like, get a lot of HP back here, but, like, he gets a lot of HP back, but, dude, it's just so bad. So now I'm able to just spam Double Edge on my X-Cloud and get a lot more value out of my X-Cloud than I otherwise would have. I Double Edge there because I was okay with sacrificing it. I end up taking out the Pelipper. Man, X-Cloud is a really underrated Pokemon. X-Cloud can do really good damage. The issue is its speed. That's what holds X-Cloud back. Like, X-Cloud can just do considerable damage to every Pokemon that runs into it, but it's just so slow that it usually just ends up getting obliterated. He brings in Snorlax, which I'm really surprised by here because it's slower than me. So I'm once again able to get off huge damage. If his last Pokemon is faster that we don't see yet, he definitely should have just brought that in, but maybe he was trying to keep it a secret. I don't quite remember. We'll see here. So I probably bring an Abomasnow here. I probably bring an Abomasnow and go for like an Ice Shard, correct? I could go Solrock actually. Ice Shard, actually, no, I probably go Abomasnow and what's my grass type move? Is it Woodhammer or EQ or something? I know I have EQ. I can either go Solrock. I think Solrock's so good here, though. Just resist. Yeah, Solrock's the correct play, I think. I think bringing in Solrock and going for an SD, which is exactly what I do here, I believe, is the correct play in this position. I've never seen a Solrock get more value in a game, I think, than in this position. Because I'm just so much... Solrock's a pretty slow Pokemon, usually like 164 speed, I think, usually in randoms, but I'm actually able to outspeed stuff here, which allows me to get off a lot of value. So I do miss a Stone Edge there, which sucks. I go for one Swords Dance, miss a Stone Edge, get put in a weird position. And I think now I'm like, I knew that EQ didn't kill Snorlax at that, or I thought that I could calculate, I could be wrong. I thought that EQ wouldn't kill at that range, but Stab Stone Edge would. But now I'm in a position where, like, honestly, I can just like start Morning Sunning up to heal up and then get another Swords Dance off, and then once I get that other Swords Dance off, then I'm pretty sure that EQ will kill. So I was a little scared of I thought I really needed that stab from Stone Edge, but he's also gaining HP every turn from Leftovers and everything, and I'm a little scared about that. And then he goes for a Curse, which is really scary, but it was the best timing for me. I'm really glad I went on the offensive here. I always say, don't worry about just like Giga setting up in randoms. Don't go for those 5 times. Don't even go for like 4 times. I think most of the time in randoms, going for like a +3/+3 or like a +3 setup is ideal. Maybe +4 if you have Swords Dance or whatever, but don't worry about, it's one of the biggest mistakes you'll see people make, is just trying to get, and I make it all the time. It's just so fun is really the thing. But I'm able to obliterate his Vespiquen 4 times weak to rock. I do hit the Stone Edge, obliterate his Ludicolo, and now it's just his Snorlax, which I can safely EQ. Really GG's. I think I type in chat, yo, GG's to my opponent. They clearly a king who just played well. Giga GG's is what I type. I have the chat cut off. That's what I type in chat. I really enjoyed that game. I think it was a great game. I had a lot of fun. We're on an 8 win streak there. Let's go ahead and jump into the last game I want to show you guys today. I think this was this game was really good, if I remember correctly, but I think I played this Aggron really poorly, if I remember correctly. Aggron's just not a Pokemon I'm super used to using, and this Bronzong is also such a demon in randoms because it has two extremely relevant abilities, and trying to decipher that information within randoms is really tough. Understanding whether it's Levitate or whether it's Heat Proof is just so important, and it's so tough to get that information. Turn 1, you see me go for a superpower to sort of test the Bronzong and see what's going on. He ends up going for an EQ, which I totally didn't expect. That EQ really caught me off guard. I ended up making a switch over to Granbull to get an Intimidate proc off, and just see where I can go with this. I think I just go for like a nice, I probably go for a CC here, I assume. He's probably going to switch here, is my thought process. I think I actually might make a switch here. Let's see, I totally forget what I'd go for here. He sets up Stealth Rocks, which is really good against my team. Or honestly, not crazy. Stealth Rocks is pretty decent. Getting the chip on things like Kingler and stuff is rough. Little worried here. I think I might, I switch around, I just think a lot here. I think I make the switch over to Kingdra here. I think I misplay this Kingdra. I remember loading into this game and seeing Focus Energy Kingdra, which for those who don't know is a pretty difficult Pokemon to pilot. I remember seeing this while drunk and being like, "Oh my god, I don't want to have to pilot this right now." And then I missed the Hydro Pump, which I'm shaking my cursor around. I'm like, "Oh, it's like the worst possible time to miss a Hydro Pump." I do get off the crit Hydro Pump with the Focus Energy. I don't even quite kill. I go down, but I'm spending so many resources to deal with this Bronzong that I'm like, this sucks. I'm really sad about it, but I still think the game is winnable. Do I go over to Kingler here or Manectric? Well, I mean, one of those. We bring in Manectric, show the Manectric. I probably should have gone Kingler here. I don't like that I revealed my Manectric here, but I go into Manectric. Yeah, I guess I wanted to have a fast Volt Switch after, but yeah, honestly, I shouldn't have revealed my Manectric here. So I Volt Switch here to get some chip on the Typhlosion, but this Typhlosion I know is going to do work against my team. I'm pretty scared of it. What do I Volt Switch over into? Aggron, just sacrifice? Yeah, I think that's the play. Which I think is fair. He goes for a sub, and that's when I'm like, oh man, this Typhlosion is... I'm in a scary position against this thing. I just sacrificed my Aggron here. Oh, I actually get the Custat proc, and I'm able to... I forgot about that. Getting the Custat proc to be able to... Honestly, I played that Aggron fine enough. Getting the Custat proc to be able... Via Stealth Rocks, that was intended. But I definitely forgot about that. For sure intended, smiley face. Really happy I was able to get that Custat proc off. Get Superpower to break the Typhlosion sub. That was super, super important. And now I bring in Kingler here. And why did I do this? Do I just die? I think I was just like, it probably has no way to kill me. It's Fire Blast. It's special. It probably doesn't have a Hidden Power Electric or something, right? I feel like it had no way to kill. But like Kingler is so weak to that thing, honestly. If he just attacked with Fire Blast, he might have just killed me, which is hilarious. Because Kingler is just so unbelievably, especially defensive weak. Now I get into a battle where I'm faster on Kingdra. I go for an SD. He goes for an Iron Defense. I go for a second SD. He head smashes me, does a decent amount of damage, but now I have 4 times SD, and I'm pretty freaking strong here. Do I end up going for Superpower or Crabhammer here? I go for Superpower just to make sure I kill the Relicanth. I could have gone for Crabhammer there, expecting a switch. But I just don't want to. But I don't think he ever does that because his best bet to answer this Kingler is probably via Relicanth being that defensive wall. He brings in Typhlosion now, which will pretty much always kill me. He had a Wild Charge, yeah. I think he might always just kill me there. Kingler is such a weak Pokemon, but he wanted to be safe and make sure, which I honestly understand. Plus his Typhlosion level 77 and my Kingler is up there in the 80s, I know. But now I can safely bring in Manectric, and I make sure to go for T-Bolt here. I was like, you know, I think I checked my Volt Switch damage. I was like, you know what? Volt Switch did like 30-something before. I know that Volt Switch won't kill, but I know it's really close. I'm pretty sure T-Bolt will kill. He brings in Magneton, which I was surprised by. I think he must have forgotten that this thing had Flamethrower. I showed him Flamethrower earlier in the match to take out his Bronzong. He makes a switch over to Poliwrath now, which is... Once again, he's in like a impossible position here. Manectric is just so good. Like he's just essentially stalling out some Life Orb damage on me, which is really smart, honestly. But he's in a really bad position here. I feel bad for him because yeah, Manectric is such a difficult Pokemon to deal with in randoms because it has so much insane coverage and it's so fast. He burns a Mamoswine, which I know this thing. I'm like 100% sure this thing is Ice Shard, and he's obviously bringing it in to finish me off, but I'm so low that if I switch that thing back in on Stealth Rocks, it's going to die anyway, so I just have to sacrifice my Manectric, get a safe switch over to Granbull, get an Intimidate proc, which ends up mattering so much. As you can see, that Intimidate proc is literally what kept my Grand Bull alive on the CC. I'm able to, or the superpower, I'm able to respond with my own CC / superpower and take out his Mamoswine. And now it ends up being a 1v1 Poliwrath versus Seviper, and I'm faster. I know, at this point, I'm pretty fucking sure I win this because I'm faster. If he was faster and could go for Waterfall plus Flinch and stuff, it'd be a lot scarier. He goes for Belly Drum, which I think is his only out there. I kind of respect it, but I'm able to take the W on the huge 9 win streak, securing a 9 win streak and keeping the win streak alive while that drunk. I was pretty happy with myself. I had a lot of fun as well. Really enjoyed those games, and I knew that I played so many games today because I had to keep queuing. You have to play a lot of games to get that Sceptile, baby. So we're still on that race to Sceptile. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. If you guys like seeing live commentary, or like seeing post-game commentary, or like seeing faster commentary, slower commentary, leave all your feedback in the comments down below, and make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon uploads, Pokemon content, whether it's PvP, guides, money making, whatever it may be. I upload daily content on this beautiful game. Check out the Discord link down below if you want to join a really cool community. If you want to go above and beyond and support the channel and allow me to keep making content like this every day, there are financial links down below, but I won't bore your ass with the details. Thank you all so much for just watching. I really appreciate your time. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and I wish you guys the best of luck in random battles.